Let's try this again. Okay, looks like we are live. Haven't done it this way in a while, so not exactly the attention-getting opening that I really wanted, but time for the Reporto de Vacaciones, the report, vacation report here. Welcome to the superpilotish channel and my clunky little start. And today, in the Bitcoin Center in Berlin, we're going to Berlin, Usulatan, El Salvador. We'll be, I'll just kind of be telling you what happened. And this is this studio here. First of all, thanks to Jethro. Jethro is a volunteer here at the Bitcoin Center in Berlin, and this is his place. He rents it out, and I'm just I don't know, renting it out from him for a bit. And he plans on he's got a nicer chair than I have back home in Canada. But yeah, he's planning on doing this and making a little money on it maybe, and then he's all good to go, and he can do his own podcast there. So thank you, Jethro. So yeah, it's kind of weird not being in my basement, and you can see things look a little bit crooked and weird. My camera looks all kind of strange. I usually have my camera up a little bit higher. Hey, but anyways, we'll make do with what we got, right? So that's one of the things about going on vacation in a place that's, you know, not exactly Canada or the United States or even Europe. Things are just a little bit different, and not necessarily bad, but, you know, different. And this is something different. So here we go. I'm going to start off number one. You know what? I'm going to prove to you that I'm actually in El Salvador. Let's go for a walk. Okay, let's see if this works. I tried it yesterday. Unplug that. Unplug this. Hopefully my camera doesn't fall down. Let's see. Here I am in the podcast room. And then this is the part where you get to look up my nose or something like that. All right, here we go. Let's check out the Bitcoin Center. Yeah, so far so good. Weird lighting. We'll see how it works out. Okay, so here behind me, this is a little courtyard that is at the Bitcoin Center in Berlin. And we got down there is another couple doors. An office and sort of a workroom, classroom. And we got a classroom right over here where they teach, I don't know, it's kind of dark. You might be able to see in there some little bit of chairs and desks. And yeah, so that's where they do different classes. They educate people. I think they do English classes in here. And I don't know, it's a classroom. This is a, you know, kind of there's a lot of learning that goes on here. So as a flight instructor, hey, I like learning, right? All right, we'll go into the main room, the main welcome lobby, I guess it is. Okay, here we are. And all right, so if you walk in, you would see, oh, check it out. We have coffee. Can't go to El Salvador without having coffee. They have, and then we got a fridge. This little guy over here, you can put in coins, and then you get Bitcoin. It's like there's a little over here. It says start. Then you put in coins and stuff like that. So it's kind of a neat little. That was actually a beta test. Those are getting made a little bit more. So I'm gonna go out. There's two doors in the front here, and as you can hear, it's a little noisy out here. But here's El Salvador. All right, there we go. Lots of just really narrow little streets. Then we got over here some guys unloading some pop into the grocery store there and some stuff like that. So there we go. We'll go back in and we'll do. I'll tell you a little bit about. Yeah, there's a little Bitcoin there. A little bit about how my vacation's been going. So back to the studio we go. Oh. Hi there.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. And okay, let's go back into telling stories all about getting into El Salvador. So I don't know, you might be able to see, I got a little bit of a burn there. It's kind of all part of the plan. Oh, Rave Shaman, hey, welcome to the show, and Mona Moore too. I hope you guys can hear me all right. Probably. Okay, so let's not forget our technical things here. Plug this in. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so we got to the airport in just outside of San Salvador. It's a little bit of a drive to get into the city. What is San Salvador? It's probably about 2 million people, I think. Oh, thanks for the sound check, Mona Moore. And yeah, cool. This is a great chair. It's got arms. I feel like being the armchair quarterback here. So yeah, I got in the airport, and going through the airport, that's something a little bit different than, I don't know, I'm kind of used to. I haven't really, even though I'm a pilot, I fly little airplanes. I don't really go on vacation too much. So what I was doing was, okay, we got off, and our plane was going on to Costa Rica, or that flight. They had to change planes, most of them. Anyways, bottom line was most of the people on our plane were not going to El Salvador. They're going to Costa Rica. So they had to change planes. And we're just like, oh, wow, where are we, man? Here we are in El Salvador. Hey, let's just go where everyone else is going. All the signs are in Spanish and stuff. And didn't see any really, there's a nice lady welcomed us, bienvenido de El Salvador. And so everyone hung all right and just followed everyone else. And it's like, wait a minute, they're checking bags over there. And it says to go to flights or something. Did we go the wrong way? And then some other guy was walking around like us, like, hey, where are you going? It's like, I want to get out of here. I don't see any exit signs or nothing. But of course, I didn't know at the time that exit in Spanish is salida. So I think it is. And so anyways, we went and looked, and so finally got around. We saw like some little pictorial of some guy that has like a little sash on there. It looks like this is your immigration dude. So we went over there, and so they kind of split you off. So if you're a Salvadoran citizen, then you go in the one line, you just go show your passport and away you go. But if you're the gringo tourist, you have to spend $12, and you got to get one of these little cards here. If you can see that, there we go, $12. So, and that's a little, what's it called? Say, yeah, it's just all in Spanish. So, tarjeta migratoria de ingreso. So that means you're good to go. 12. Then you go over and do another line, show the passport to the immigration person, and there's this nice girl there, and she was very nice, and she was quite happy that we were visiting her country, and was like, oh, thanks for letting us in. So she wanted to see our $12. They took a little picture of us, and just, I don't know what for, but went in El Salvador. Yeah, so I thought after that, we're cool. Put my passport away and keep walking, and figure I'll go out and grab a ride into town. And then it's like some other guy's like, hey, let me see your passport. I'm like, okay. So this is the tricky thing that people didn't, I had no idea. I've never seen this before, where you go through the customs and you think, I'm cool. But you actually show your passport again to some other guy. And then if you got luggage that you're picking up, I just had carry-on luggage, but if you have luggage that you're picking up, okay, now you can pick up your luggage. And then now when you're leaving, you got to go through and they check your luggage again. So, or they might check your luggage, they might not, because I was like, why is that the exit? Because they're checking luggage. But yeah, so they get customs, some other dude, and yeah, and then they're checking. But the thing is, there was this lady walking around with this really cute little dog. She was in uniform. I don't think it was a vicious dog or anything. I think it was like sniffing for drugs or something. But they were all really nice. And then it's really cool when you leave the airport because you can't, like, here I am. It was at night we showed up, and it's like, okay, I guess you walk out these doors. And it's like, dun, dun, you feel like a rock star because these doors open up and there's tons of people just watching you. And it's like, that's where people wait to pick up their relatives, or they pick up, I don't know, people they're picking up. But it's just like nothing. Bam, palm trees in a crowd. It's like, yeah, I'm a rock star, man. This is cool. And then so we arranged with Napoleon. He's a bit driver, so he gets paid in Bitcoin to drive people around. So he picked us up at the airport, and yeah, no problem. He was right out there. He does a great service with BitDriver. He's also has other drivers too, so you might get him, you might not, but he was a fun guy to ride with. And so here we are, El Salvador at night, ripping down the road, and going to our hotel. And what else we got here? I made a few little notes here. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, so the only time that I saw exit was the very last little room to go out to be welcomed like a rock star, you know, in El Salvador. Oh, and then shaking the table and the destroying Jethro's table over here. Yeah, so the okay, we go there. On the way, there's a bunch of people saying taxi, 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 taxi. So if you do show up there, I know there's people that you can just grab a taxi there at the airport and they'll take you into town. We stayed first. We went to this area of San Salvador called San Benito. It's kind of the rich neighborhood. Yeah, so we got in there at night. We're like, oh man, I need a beer. But they had some there, and they opened up the little patio for us, just me and my girlfriend. So it was very nice of them. And yeah, hung out there and looked at the palm trees at night, and like, wow, this is cool. Hey, Jethro. Hey, no, come on in, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you can just pick up your stuff.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, no, you grab your stuff, dude. Ah, okay. Well, yeah, this is oh well, he's being his computer's over here, so no problem. We're all three people are here. We're all buds. So, anyways, yeah, so we got into yeah, in there at night. That was cool. And then the next day, okay, with our little cell phones. Now, like with me, I'm not much of a cell phone guy, but here I'm kind of forcing myself to get in this little device. And so, okay, I got my cell phone. Oh yeah, I paid BitDriver with Bitcoin. And it was like, cool, here, a little QR code, and it goes bing. It's like, it just kind of works. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, next day, okay, so now we don't have any data on our phone. So if we're walking around, there's no Google Maps, right? So I figured, hey, I'm a pilot, I can navigate, right? So it's like, okay, we just go up that road. It's real easy to see, right? And well, the thing is, we'll just take that road that kind of veers off, but then a bunch of them veer off. So we walked down the wrong. We were trying to go to this one, it was Galleria something that it's like a mall, kind of the north of San Benito. And well, we took the scenic route to get there, but so anyways, like, where are we? I don't know. So I had to ask some dude on the directions, and like my Spanish is junk. Although here's another thing about if you are going to come here, not many people speak English at all. So you're going to have to go if you check out Babbel, Babbel, or Duolingo. Those are two websites. They kind of do like online Spanish lessons, and we did that for probably about 4 months before we came here. Just a little bit every day, and so you learned right, left, straight ahead, and just little things like that. But then you ask directions, and it's real easy when it's slow on the computer. It's like, bing, hey, you got it right. And then, but in reality, you say, hey, where's this Galleria? And he's like, which one? I mean, there's like a bunch of them. Like, I don't know, shopping mall, Galleria. And so we were going there to get new SIM cards for our phones so we could have a phone number, data, stuff like that. And so the guy's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound like Duolingo. But we ended up sort of understanding. I remember seeing on the map there's a big roundabout there. And he says, it's by the McDonald's, take bus number 52 if you want. And it's like, wow, we're just walking, right? So anyways, went down, found the place, surprisingly. The guy gave good directions, and we got our SIM cards, and it's like, okay, everything's worked now. Now we can use like Google Translate and all this other stuff, which is very handy. If you got Google Translate or DeepL, I think it's called, that one is good for, maybe I'll show you how to do that. So yeah, it's like this technology is fantastic. Of course, you guys probably all know about this stuff, but this is all super new to the superpilotish channel. And yeah, so say I want to say, Yeah, so here we go. We got our Google Translate. I don't even know if you can see that. Oh, maybe not. Enter text. Okay, or you just say it. Or you just say it. Oh, well, let's try another one. Graham is cool. Narcissist. Oh, well. What? Translate from English. Okay, let's do another one. Where is the bathroom? What? Translate English to English. See, I'm just so crap with this. I screwed that up. Oh, that's Spanish to English. We want English to Spanish. Okay. Where is the bathroom? Dun, dun, dun. And can you see that? ¿Dónde está el baño? Very a very important thing to find out. Okay, and then you memorize that one right away. So yeah, so if you've never seen Google Translate, there it is. Bad demonstration, not ideally the best for teaching, but that you got to have on your phone if you come down here. And yeah, so I got my little cheat sheet notes here. Yeah. Oh, the other cool thing there too was the traffic. Okay, so we're walking in San Salvador, and I don't know if the traffic is bad or good. It's heavy. It's definitely not good, but it's a big city, right? All big cities have bad traffic or not good traffic. And they were just, and I noticed around the city, they're starting to put up a lot new, more modern street lights with the little pedestrian sign, the little guy walking or the hand. And so, yeah, they're kind of fixing up all the stoplights there, and it's looking pretty good. So, yeah, and there was this busy road, and they hadn't put in the stoplight yet. It was kind of under construction, and we're like, how are we going to cross this road? It's just steady cars, like 4 lanes or something like that. Steady, and we're waiting there. Some other kids waiting there, and we're like, I got to go over there, and then over there to the mall. And then there's this old guy. He's like, hey, this is how you do it. And this old guy goes out, hey, stop. He puts up his hand. He's like, hey, slow down. And we're like, this guy's just walking out there telling everybody to stop. And we're like, oh, gracias. Cool. And he's just like, well, the old man told me to stop. I guess I got to stop. So that was just like the funniest way of crossing the street. I wouldn't have done it. And everyone kind of just figures out a way how to do traffic here. Like here in Berlin, there's no stop signs, or you just kind of drive and you watch and go slow through the intersection. You go around pedestrians, motorcycles cut all over the place, splitting traffic and stuff. In San Salvador, it's nuts. You know, they're sitting there bumper to bumper traffic. All these guys on these little single cylinder motorcycles are ripping by. So traffic is interesting here, we'll say, but not necessarily anything worse than you see like Toronto at rush hour or something. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, and then so we got all settled in there, and then went to the Aviation Museum, which is pretty cool. Went there and we got a tour. It's in the Ilopango airport, which was the old airport before it closed in about 1980, and they built the one that you fly into here. So they actually have, I think it's 1 or 2 flying schools there. Never checked them out, didn't have enough time, but checked out the museum. And that Ilopango, it's considered like an Air Force base. It's you got to go through. You know, there's guys there with machine guns you got to walk through before you go to before you get to the museum. And that's another thing too. There's all over San Benito, like all over in San Salvador, anywhere we saw that, you'll see like private security with shotguns. So don't be afraid. Yeah, cool little short pump action kind of shotguns. I think that's the right tool for the job. And then, but yeah, you'll see like here at the market, if it's a big crowd, or even in the historical center of San Salvador, you'll see like army guys there with their, I don't know what rifles they're using, but there's guys with rifles walking around. The police have rifles that and it's one of those things. If you're afraid of guns at all, then it's like, well, be prepared, and don't. It's not a big deal because it's like those are the good guys. So any gun nut out there that has a collection of 500 guns, they'll always say, or even less. most gun guys will be at a gun club, gun range. They'll always say, hey, what stops a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun. So there's lots. We'll put it that way. There's lots of good guys with guns down here in El Salvador. Hey, you can wave at them. They'll give you a nod. They're professional. They're trained. And yeah. So, but you might be freaked out if you're not used to it. Okay, and think about it too. It's like a rifle is more accurate than a handgun, so it's actually safer for you to be in a crowd with someone with a rifle. Anyways, what else we got here? Aviation Museum, blah, 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 just yakking. And then, yeah, the Aviation Museum. So a guy named Sergeant Velasquez, he took my girlfriend and I on a little tour of there. It's in the lobby of the old Ilopango Airport, and then upstairs is the control tower. So the actual control tower for the airport. And I got to see some planes taking off and landing. Pretty cool. And I think what I see, saw a Tomahawk, a couple of 172s. But yeah, that was pretty neat. What else? Okay, yeah, so that was a cool tour. It's kind of like, it's basically the history of the Air Force. And another thing I learned there that I didn't know was apparently Charles Lindbergh, before he was going New York to Paris nonstop, he flew down here to the Ilopango Airport in San Salvador. There's a picture of him right there. It's like, what? You had a celebrity pilot come down here, Charles Lindbergh? That's pretty cool. And they got, like, it's not, I don't know. I couldn't figure out exactly who owns it or runs it or manages it or anything like that. But it only costs you $1 to go on a tour. That's not too bad. And yeah, the guy, he was working. Oh, that was Sergeant Velasquez too. I really like talking to him too because he's working on his pilot's license. So hey, flight instructor, then we can talk airplane. Like if you're into stuff, you talk about it, right? So hopefully, it didn't bore my girlfriend with that too much. But I think she's kind of used to me talking about airplanes. Okay, and then all right, we went and saw that. Very cool. And actually, we were killing some time. If you are going to go to the Aviation Museum, they close for lunch. So if you go to their website, their website, it looks kind of old from the 90s. That's the right website, and those are approximately the right hours. So we had to kill some time beforehand, but there was a motorcycle shop around. So I was checking out the little motorcycles they got, talking to some guy. I think his name was Byron. I got his phone number off of him anyways, and they sell these little Chinese bikes called Freedom bikes, and those are actually kind of cool. It looks like about like a 1972 Honda or something like that, and they just stick a one-cylinder engine in it. So they're all over the place. And then these motorcycles from India too, they're all over the place here, which is, I mean, they're great on gas. You can't drive fast here anyways because there's stray dogs and stuff around, and it could be a cow crossing the road. Yeah, we saw, like, here, we were driving into town, into Berlin here, and it's like, hey, there's a cow. It's like in some guy's driveway. We were walking around the other day. It's 3 horses just walking around the corner. They're just by themselves, hanging around. But it is pretty cool here that with all these stray animals walking around, the streets are pretty clean. You'd think there'd be crap all over the place, but I guess they clean them up. Don't want it stinking. So, okay, enough of that. Yeah, so we went to Berlin, and so got in. And then you settle in someplace, and you got to go get some food and get some, water. You got to do. You know what? I'm going to backtrack a bit. We went for a walk. We walked from San Benito to the Centro Histórico, historical center. Big long walk. Got super dehydrated. Bring lots of water here, and I got super burnt too. So, but hey, it's all part of being the gringo on vacation, is getting the burn. So yeah, what else we got? Oh, that was also the first time I took an Uber. See, that's how out of touch I am with these things. It's like, hey, oh man, we can't walk all the way back. Hey, I'll try that Uber thing, and then And the Ubers are actually really cheap in San Salvador. Everywhere else, I'm not too sure. There's no Uber in Berlin, but that's okay. A guy knows a guy who can drive. So, yeah, we're in Berlin. Yeah, Monday night in Berlin. Okay, they do presentations here at the Bitcoin Center because like Bitcoin, it's a new money to the country. It's a new money to everybody. And so here you can use that to pay your electricity bill. You can even pay anything. I topped up on my data plan here. I topped it up using Bitcoin, just right online. Boom, top it up. And that's pretty high tech. And so everyone's kind of wondering, how do I use this Bitcoin stuff? Because their legal tender here is now the US dollar and Bitcoin. So they used to have a currency called the Cologne years ago, and they just printed it out of existence, just like Argentina, Zimbabwe, and all these other countries that like, hey, we got 1,000,000% inflation and print the money. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I don't get too political here, but it's just money on your phone. It's like paying with Visa, and it's actually kind of handy for little towns like this because there's no, like, you're used to using your credit cards and debit cards in the United States and Canada, and here you can't do that. It's like it's cash, and does the person have change and stuff? So if you got like some Bitcoin on your phone, it's just like, yeah, I'll pay, boom, done, and it's free. So like there's no service charges there, and I think here they have it set up that if you're dealing in Bitcoin, it's not taxable. So there's no tax here anyways, but I think your income tax in Bitcoin is not taxable, where it is in Canada, United States. So yeah, so that's why here at the center, they got free Wi-Fi, so that's cool. One of the reasons I wanted to come down here. And also, like, you can never learn too much about something new. So they had Monday, they had a presentation on, they call it what are they calling it? Self-custody? Anyways, controlling your own money. And yeah, so there was a nice little presentation it was in Spanish, but it's like, I got to work on my Spanish anyways. But it was a really interesting group of people that went there because it was some local people, some people from out of town, gringos, and then like me. And then, but the age range was like 18 to 80. There's like this old lady there taking notes and like, yeah, I got to know how to take this stuff in my store. So like, oh, okay. And then they kind of talk to each other about, hey, yeah, you can use this for this. And so it's kind of growing here, the amount of people that are actually taking Bitcoin in store. It's like, it's crazy. It's the money of the future, apparently. And yeah, so that was kind of neat. And then we went up for pupusas afterwards, which are the national food here is pupusas, and it's very cheap, very good tasting. And yeah, so I had a good time after that too. What else we got here? I think that was about it. Yeah. Okay, so that's yeah, and that's where we are. And then today I had to come down and do my live stream. So that is about it. We'll see if there's any questions here. Oh man, I might have to actually use that YouTube editing thing here to just chop out that first clunky part. Yeah, I got to do some post-production on this. But anyways, let's see who was in the chat here, etc. Okay. All right. Oh, Dustin popped in too. I didn't welcome you, Dustin, so welcome. And okay. Yeah, and the thing is, I'd love to. There's a couple little comments I'd like to put up on the screen right now, but this microphone, I tested it before and failed. Doesn't work with StreamYard. It overloads it or something like that. So I had to use the old school YouTube way. I forgot how to do this exactly. So it's been a long time since I used it this way. But that's about it. I'm going to put a few links in the description below after this about the Aviation Museum. What else? A couple other things. The Bitcoin Center here where I am. They don't have a website up and running yet, but Google around. They're on Twitter and all over the place. You can find. That's the one thing about I don't know. If you have an eye to learn something, you just Google search it, and it'll pop up. Okay, so no real questions here today. I have to go back to vacationing, and I didn't really want to do too much. Like, my show is usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, but I'm on vacation, so I just figured I'd touch base and tell you guys I'm still around, still alive and kicking. Haven't gotten thrown in jail yet. No, none of that. Oh, and that's another thing you might be wondering about too. How safe is El Salvador? Totally safe. I mean, it was weird. Actually, it's safer than where I am in Windsor, I think. It's like we heard people outside last night. So we look out the window, and it's like this mom and her kids walking down the street. It's just like, it's dark out. It's I don't know, man. It's pretty cool. San Benito. Hey, you know what? Even in the old part of San Salvador, you didn't really feel like, ooh. I mean, people stare at you because you're a big gringo, but they say hello too. Buenas tardes, buenos dias. And so, most people are just like anyone else here. They're just pretty friendly. They just don't have too much money, but they're working on it. So that is about it. Okay. I'd love to bring these comments up here, but I'm on my minimal setup here. Anyways, that's about it. I'm gonna go back to the Airbnb, do some post-production, and that's about it. So let's see if I can do this right. Thank you for watching. Bye.